Resistance isn't just about strength. It's about control, awareness, and knowing when to push back. In movement, just like in life, resistance helps us grow. Today, we're using a block as our tool for resistance, not to fight against it, but to learn from it. Every press, every squeeze, every moment of controlled engagement is a reminder that resistance isn't just force, it's intention. Let's get to it. Let's start in a strong tabletop position. Bring your hands directly in front of your shoulders, spread your fingers wide. Hinge forward and plant your hands onto your mat so your center finger is pointing to the top of your mat and your fingers are wide. Take a moment here to adjust your palms so they feel like they're directly underneath your shoulders. And now bend into your elbows so your elbow creases point forwards and your elbow points point back. Now let's take a look at our legs. Send your knees hip width apart and your feet the same width as well. Press the tops of your feet into your mat and pull your belly button up to neutralize out your spine. Slight tuck of your chin to pull your chin towards your chest and elongate your cervical spine. We're gonna work on our breath for the first few moments of class here. We'll take a deep inhale for a count of 4 as we send our gaze up and forward, keeping our neutral tabletop still in every other aspect of our body. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1 as you lift. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1 as you pull your chin back to your chest. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1 to lift. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1 to lower. Last time, inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that micro bend. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1 back down. We'll take lateral turns left and right now, starting with right. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale to center, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale left, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale center, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale right, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale center, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale left, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale center, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we'll take the movement into our full spine with some cat-cows. On your inhale, drop your belly down, start to pull your gaze up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that micro bend in your elbows as you exhale to cat for 4, 3, 2, 1. Really press into your palms, pull your knees towards your elbows and your elbows towards your thighs. Send your gaze back. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1 to cow pose. Take a big arch in your spine here. Send your gaze up. And we'll exhale to cat for 4, 3, 2, 1. Press into your palms. Lift the center of your spine towards the ceiling. One last rep here. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a big stretch of your belly and your abdomen here. Maybe shift forwards into your wrists, backwards into your knees. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1 to your cat pose. Really press in this time. Find your largest arc. Pull that chin into your chest. And come back to your neutral tabletop. We'll take some hip circles, moving in each direction 3 times. Shift your hips over to the right side of your mat. Drop your hips down towards your heels. Take some slow, juicy hip circles here, moving in a clockwise direction to start. If you feel any areas of stickiness or tension, spend a few extra moments there, shaking side to side, massaging it out. Move slowly like you're moving through molasses, finding your fullest range of motion. Last circle here. And come back to neutral. Shift your hips over to the left side of your mat. Drop your hips down towards your heels. Any areas of stickiness or tension, spend an extra moment there, rocking it out. Last one, great work. Once you finish your 3 hip circles, come back to your neutral tabletop. Find that bend once again in your elbows. Tuck your toes behind you and reach your right foot towards the back of your mat. So your right heel is stacked over those right toes. Bend into the elbows to support your upper body. Pull your abdomen up and step your left foot back to meet it. We're in our strong high plank. You'll notice your upper body and your arms are in the same position as your tabletop, but now your legs are extended. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. Pull your hip tips towards your ribs as you pull your ribs down towards your hip tips to really engage your core. Spread your fingers wide once again if they've collapsed in, and can you shift your heels over your toes to find the strongest lower body you can. We're gonna hold for 5, squeeze your glutes for 4, pull your chin towards your chest for 3, press the earth away for 2, 1, exhale, downward facing dog. Shift your hips up and back. Find a generous bend into each knee as you pedal out your legs. We'll isolate the movement in the bottom of each foot now. Press your weight into your left foot and start to peel your right toes off the mat. So just the very tippy top of your right toes are on your mat. You have a generous bend in your right knee and some extension in that left leg. Now switch it out, press your weight into your right foot as you let your left toes stretch onto your mat. Generous bend into your left knee as you lengthen the back of that right leg. Press both of your heels down towards the mat, and now lift your heels both high up over your toes. We'll take that one more time. Draw your heels down towards the ground. Inhale, lift your feet high, stretching the bottoms of your feet. Press into your palms. Take tiny, tiny steps to bring your feet underneath your hips. And take a moment here to parallel the insides of your feet with one another and find the same vertical plane on the mat for your toes. So the inside of each big toe is in line with the inside of each heel, and your feet are parallel to one another. Now you're gonna grab for your block. Your block can either come on this tall and narrow setting, or it can come on the short and narrow setting in between your thighs. Play around with whichever variation feels more comfortable. It'll likely depend on the width of your hips and the width of your block. Bring your hands up to your thighs, pull your chin into your chest, and we're slowly gonna roll up one vertebrae at a time. Your chin is gonna be the last to lift here, and hands come to your hips. Your forefingers in front, your thumb to the back of your hips. Squeeze your block in between your thighs to stand up a little bit taller. Pull the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, a slight tuck of your chin down towards your chest. Elbows wide. Feel your fingers on the front of your hips. Can you rotate those hip tips up and back a little bit more to lengthen through your hip flexors and squeeze through your glutes to help activate the largest muscle groups in your body? Inhale, mountain pose, ground down through all the corners of your feet. Stand as tall as you can, activate between your legs. Keep your left hand on your hip, right hand comes to your left side body. Inhale, exhale, side bend towards the right. Feel the lengthening of the right side of your body as your left hip grounds down. Imagine you're between two panes of glass, one in front of you and one behind you. Really press down into the outside of that left foot. Inhale, come back up to mountain, one hand on each hip. Squeeze the block, stand tall. Bring your left hand to your right side body. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, find a gentle side bend towards the left. Squeezing that right glute, anchoring through the right hip, and stretching through your right side body. Inhale, come up, both hands come to each hip, stand tall. Exhale, squat and curl, bend into your knees until you can plant your hands firmly on your mat, just like we did in our tabletop, just like we did in our high plank. Squeeze the block in between your thighs as you lift your hips up and slowly walk your feet back to your high plank. Micro bend in those elbows, squeeze the block in between your thighs, shift your heels over your toes, and slightly pull your chin down to elongate through your cervical spine. We're gonna hold for 10, use your breath for 9, 8, micro bend in your elbows for 7, 6, squeeze your block and your glutes for 5, so strong for 4, slight tuck of your chin for 3, 2, 1, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, shift those hips up and back. We'll take that same flow 2 more times. Inhale, send your gaze forward. Exhale, tiny steps, bring your feet underneath your hips. Take a moment to parallel your feet like we did before. Hands come to your thighs, tuck your chin in. Inhale, slowly stand one vertebrae at a time. Hands come to your hips. Inhale, mountain, stand tall. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your block. Right hand to your left side, inhale. Ground through that left hip, ground through the left foot. Exhale, side bend towards the right. Inhale, back through center, squeeze to lift. And bring your left hand to your right side, inhale. Exhale, side bend towards the left. Inhale, come up, one hand to each hip, stand tall. Lengthen through your spine, squeeze your glutes, activate your core. Exhale, squat and curl, plant your hands firmly on the ground, center finger points towards the top of your mat. Squeeze your hips, squeeze your glutes to lift your hips up, and slowly walk your feet back with control. Find your high plank, micro bend in the elbows, shift your heels over your toes. We're gonna take tiny shifts here, heels pulse forward and back, forward and back. Pull your chin down, spread your fingers wide, squeeze the block in between your thighs. We have 10, 9, use your breath, 7, 6, 5, tuck your chin for 4, 3, 2, 1, inhale. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Pedal out your legs for just a moment. We have one more round. Inhale, send your gaze forward. Exhale, tiny steps, feet come underneath your hips. Parallel your feet, bring your hands to your thighs, tuck your chin. Inhale, slowly roll up. Hands come to your hips. Inhale, mountain pose, stand tall. Right hand to your left side. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, lengthen mountain. Exhale, left hand to your right side. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, lengthen, one hand to each hip, squeeze the block, stand as tall as you can. And this time we're gonna move into our chair pose.
Keeping your block exactly where it is, hands on your hips, bend into your knees as you ground down into all corners of your feet. Pretend you're sliding down an imaginary wall behind you. And as you squeeze the block in between your thighs, activate your outer glutes. Pull your shoulders back a little bit more. Keep those shoulders tall and stacked over your hips. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, stand, find that mountain pose. Keep activating between your inner thighs. Give your legs a little break. Shake your hips from side to side. We have 2 more 15-second holds here. Inhale. Exhale, lower down to your chair. Keep all of your toes pressed into your mat. Can you keep your hip tips pulled up and back? Inhale through your nose. Exhale, squeeze your block. We have 5, 4, 3, almost there for 2. 1, inhale, stand to release. 1 more set here of the chair holds. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, hinge at your knees, lower down. Can you pull your shoulders back, pull your elbows back, open your chest forward as you sink your seat 1 millimeter lower. This is less about depth and more about activation in your thighs, activation in your glutes. Lengthen the crown of your head up for 5. Squeeze for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, stand up. Gently release your hips side to side. Inhale. Exhale, squat. Place your hands onto the floor and gently step your feet back for our final plank hold here. Activate your inner thighs towards one another. Shift your heels over your toes. Spread those fingers wide. We're holding for 15 seconds. Bend in the elbows. Use your breath. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently come down to your knees. Remove the block between your inner thighs and place it off to the side. We'll get back up to standing for our next exercise. Bring your hands to your hips once again. Hands on your hips offer stability, control, and feedback from your center of gravity, which is right here in your lumbopelvic region. Distribute your weight evenly between your 2 feet, and we're gonna move into a 1-legged mountain pose. Start to shift your weight into your left foot and feel what that does to the distribution of your hips as you start to peel your right foot up off the ground. Your right knee is in line with your right hip, and the bottom of your right foot is parallel to the ground. Squeeze through that left glute, and we're gonna lower the right leg down and behind us into a lunge. Inhale, reach the crown of your head up tall. Think about squeezing yourself in and up. And now hinge forward at your hips, driving your right heel back behind you. When you get to about a 45-degree angle with your upper body, start to straighten through the right leg and point your toes as you bend into your left knee, activate through the left glutes, and tap your right toes down to the ground. Now you're gonna lightly drag your right toes back in line with your left foot and lift up to your 1-legged mountain. We'll take that 4 more times. Inhale to lengthen up. Exhale to hinge at your hips. Drive the right heel back. 45 degrees, stop. Lengthen through your right foot. Point those right toes and lower your right toes down to the ground with control. You're just hovering those right toes onto the mat as you drag the right toes forward And inhale up to your one-legged mountain. We have 3 more. This is a hard one, you're doing great. Hinge forward, lengthen, point, and lower. Slide your right foot forward. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Great work. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. Straighten through that right leg. Right toes come down. Drag your toes forward on your mat. Last mountain on the right side here. Your left leg might be shaking. You're almost there. Hinge. Straighten and point. Lower with control. And drag your right foot back. Great work. Shake out that left foot. And we'll switch sides. Hands come to your hips. Stand nice and tall. Feel the distribution of your weight. As you start to shift your weight over into your right foot. Find a one-legged mountain with your left foot. Left knee is in line with your left hip. And the bottom of your left foot is parallel to the ground. Inhale, squeeze your center line. Reach the crown of your head up. Hinge forward 45 degrees. Straighten through that left leg. Point your toes. And bend into your right knee to lower your left toes to the ground. Slowly drag your left toes forward. Inhale to your one-legged mountain. Exhale, hinge forward 45 degrees. Lengthen through that left leg and point. And lower your left toes down to the ground. Inhale, come up. One-legged mountain, flex through your left foot. Hinge forward 90 degrees. Straighten through your left leg and point your toes as you lower down with control. Inhale, drag those toes forward, one-legged mountain. Stand tall. Hinge forward 45 degrees. Pull your leg and point your toes. Lower down with control. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Last one. Flex through the left foot. Hinge forward 45 degrees. Lengthen through your leg, point your toe, and gently trace it back on the ground to standing. Great work. We'll stay standing for our next pose as well as we'll move into a warrior two position. Take a moment here to parallel your left foot to the short side of your mat and point your right toes forward to the front side of your mat. Find a generous bend in this right knee as you stack the right knee over the right ankle. Hands come to your hips for that feedback, or even to your shoulders to gently turn them forward. So your shoulders stack directly over your hips as you sink a little bit lower into that front knee. Pull your shoulder blades back to shine your chest forward. Squeeze through your glutes to give yourself some stability here. From your warrior two, inhale, reach the crown of your head up, lengthening through that spine. And gently reach your right elbow towards your right knee. Extended side angle. Inhale to lift. Keep your lower body exactly where it is. Exhale, reach your right elbow to your right knee. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Come back to your warrior two. Keep that lower body stable. I know it burns, but you can do it. We'll take it into a reverse warrior. Inhale. Exhale, hinge your left shoulder back 45 degrees. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last time. Inhale, star pose now. Point your toes to the corners of your mat. Lift your fingers. Shake out your hips. Spread the webbing in between your fingers. Maybe even scrunch them. And we'll take it to the other side of our mat. Point your left toes to the short side of your mat and parallel your right toes to the back of your mat. Find a generous bend in the front knee as your left knee sits over your left ankle. Hands come up to your shoulders to rotate them forward and down your side body until you find your hips. We'll take the same 2 moves on the left. Inhale to lengthen through your spine. Exhale, reach your left elbow to your left knee. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one, lift. Exhale, lower. Come back to your warrior 2 and we'll take it back into our reverse warrior. Squeeze through those glutes. Pull your shoulders back, shine your chest forward. Inhale. Exhale, hinge back 45 degrees. Inhale to lift. Exhale to back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back. You've got this. 2 more, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Inhale back to your star pose. Shake out your hips one last time. Now parallel your feet to the front and back of your mat as you hinge down into a little wide leg forward fold to release the tension in the backs of your legs. Shift your hips forward to elongate through your calves, through your hamstrings, and let your head hang heavy. Press some weight into your palms as you bend your elbows and gently rock forwards and backwards. And gently come down onto your knees. Find a seated position and grab your block once again. Block is going to come in between your shins this time as we set up for a boat pose. Hands can come behind your hips, center fingers pointing forwards once again, so you can really bend back into those elbows to offer some support for your upper body. Squeeze the block in between your thighs and point your toes up towards the ceiling. You can either stay right here, hands grounded, heels grounded, and work on squeezing that block for core activation. Even just a little hover, a centimeter off the ground will help activate your core, your glutes, your upper body. You can leave your heels rested on the ground, or you can bring your heels up to knee height. Wherever you are, the height is less important than the activation you offer in between your calves of the block. Use your breath. This is our final exercise here. Push through. Inhale, lengthen the crown of your head. Reach your spine up and back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. We have 10 in our hold, 9, 8, squeeze your block for 7, 6, can you smile for 4, 3, 2, 1, gently lower it down, remove your block, place it off to the side, and we will finish up with some final stretches. Find a nice cross-legged position, sit tall, and point your toes in the same directions as your knees. So you're on the outside edge of each foot here. Sit up tall, and gently hinge forward at your hips, keeping your spine long and neutral. Think about pulling your chest in between your elbows rather than rounding down through your spine. Slight tuck of that chin down to lengthen through the back of your cervical spine. And gently jiggle your jaw side to side to release some tension in your jaw. Inhale. Exhale, can you fold just a little bit deeper? Inhale, sit up. Switch the cross of your legs. Remember, you're on the outsides of your feet here, toes point in the same direction forward as your knees. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, hinge. Slight bend in those elbows to let all of the length come from your back lying body. Gentle tuck of that chin down. Inhale. Exhale, hinge a little bit deeper. Pull your chest forward. Cross your left leg over your right leg and grab for your block. Your block is going to come behind your left hip. Left hand to your left block so you can bend your elbow back. Inhale, sit up tall. Right hand comes to your left thigh. And gently find a twist from the very top of your spine. Inhale to lengthen up. Exhale to twist a little bit deeper as you bend into that left elbow to increase your twist. And gently release. We'll switch sides. Your right leg will come over your left leg this time. Block behind your right hip, right hand to your block. Inhale, sit up tall. Left hand to your right thigh. Exhale as you twist and bend that elbow back. Inhale to lengthen up a little bit more. Exhale to twist a little bit deeper. Gently release, and we'll set up for our final pose as I close out class for us. Find your seat on top of your block. Your block is low and wide. Heels come all the way out into a V shape. Heels press into your mat, toes point up towards the ceiling, and you'll find a gentle hinge forward as you hover your fingertips onto your mat. You can take this as deep as you'd like, but I encourage you to continue to flex your toes up and keep your spine nice, tall, and lengthened to let the hinging really happen in your hips here. Resistance isn't just about pushing aimlessly. It's about choosing where to direct your energy. Today we use the block to create engagement, feedback, and control in our movement. The same principle applies beyond the mat. Resistance sharpens awareness, builds resilience, and helps us move with intention. Carry that with you this week, both in your body and in the world. See you next week.